So here goes. These are the questions for anyone who wants to be a physicist. If you elude these questions, you're just hiding your religion. You have no idea what physics is about. So these are the questions a physicist must answer and cannot avoid. Okay? First one are topics such as what causes gravity, what causes magnetism. Are those a part of physics? Are those questions of physics? Those questions that a physicist must answer. What causes gravity? You know, here we have a pen, okay? And we let it go, and it falls to the floor, in this case the table, right? Falls always downward, never falls upwards. I don't know why, you know? Do we have to answer those questions? Are those questions of physics? Are those questions that a physicist is interested in answering? That's the first issue. Do we explain mechanisms in physics? Here we have a mechanism, okay? We let go of the pen, it falls. There's some kind of mechanism going on, okay? Something's happening there, okay? And so do we explain mechanisms in physics? Is that part of the subject matter of physics? Yes or no? These are all yes or no questions, by the way, okay? Or are such issues subject matter of philosophy? Is this a question of philosophy, of what causes this to fall to the floor? Is this philosophy? I would use my two little magnets there, okay? This is a mechanism. Something's going on here. It's already pulling on my fingers. You know, it's already, you can draw, you can do it at your own leisure at home. Take two magnets, you'll see, you know, one pulls on the other. You know, is the mechanism, is that an issue of physics, or is this an issue of philosophy? Or religion, or some other, is this an issue of psychology, consciousness? I don't know. So it's a yes or no question. Is it an issue of philosophy? Can we explain a mechanism without objects? If I don't have an object, can I explain, for example, here, let me give you an example. Okay, here's a ball, and it's tied to a little string, okay, a little elastic string, okay? So I'm doing like that. If I had to explain why the ball goes up and down, could I explain it to you without referring to this elastic band? I mean, can I explain this phenomenon that the ball is bouncing up and down? I'm talking about an explanation, not describing. I don't want to describe, I don't want to know how fast it goes. I want to know why it goes up and down. And everybody would say, well, you're pulling on the string. Okay, that's fine. But could you do it without referencing the string? Could you explain the mechanism of why that ball goes up and down without talking about the string? And that's what I'm saying. Can you explain a mechanism without using an object? In fact, if I got rid of the ball as well, you know, there would be nothing to explain. There would be nothing going up and down. So here are the issues. Those four questions, they're yes or no. You can't miss any of them. If you miss answering those in a rational way, you're first an irrational individual, and second, you're hiding something. You're hiding behind you're shielding yourself behind some kind of religion, something you have deep inside you. So this is a good way of psychoanalyzing yourself. You're hiding something. You're not willing to answer those questions because they destroy your religion, destroy your way of thinking. How you grew up, how you were educated. That's why you would try to avoid these questions. That's the only reason you would try to avoid them. Okay? Okay. So you got to answer those questions if you want to be a physicist. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing religion. Okay. Here's for instance, here you see a pulley. Okay, pulling on a box. Okay. There's a rope tied around the pulley, tied to the box, and pulls it up. Okay, we need to explain that. You need to have the rope, you need to have the pulley, and you have to have the box. You have to point to all these objects, okay, these figures, these things, and then you can explain it, how the box goes up. Now, what if I showed this? The box just goes up. And I say, well, where's the box going up? Well, what would you say? There are spirits, magic, black magic. What are you going to introduce here to explain why that box goes up? Okay, that's what you got to explain. You got to explain why that box goes up. You're going to need to put in some physical objects. You're going to have to identify the objects. Okay, otherwise you're doing religion. You're introducing spirits, black magic, God, who knows. Okay, so if we need an object to do physics, what the hell is an object? What is this thing called figure? Okay, see if I can get this thing up there. Give me a second here. Okay, so in physics, we define an object as that which has shape. And what do we mean by that? Well, it means that it's the only universal property of all objects. All objects have shape. There is not a single object that does not have shape. And if you can think of one, please draw it. Okay, so if you know of an object that doesn't have shape, please draw it. Okay, it's got to be standalone. It's got to be independent. What do we mean by that? Well, you should be able to point to it. It should be the only object in the universe when you present it. Okay, it's like there's nothing else in the universe. We got to have, like in that case, you see an example there. You see that whatchamacallit, and that's an object. Why is it an object? Because it has shape. The black stuff is just space. That's the background that gives contour to the object. If that black background wasn't there, the object would be infinite, and then therefore it wouldn't be an object, because an object is that which has shape. So it has to have some contour. Okay. Now that black stuff does that have shape? And the answer is no. The black stuff is nothing, that which doesn't have shape. So we have shape within that which doesn't have shape, and that which doesn't have shape is put there just so that you can identify the shape. Okay? So that's an object for the purposes of physics. As you can see, it's standing alone. There's no other object nearby. We don't need any other object to call that one X, object called X. Okay? It's an independent object, unlike a magnetic field, which depends on the magnet. Okay? This one doesn't depend on anything. Okay, it stands alone. Okay, so in that sense, it's the sole object in the universe. We should be able to put it out there in the middle of space all by itself. Okay, or you should be able to point to it. Okay, it's got to be motionless. No object involves motion. And please keep that in mind for what we're going to be talking about today, which is the square. Okay, I'll talk a little bit about the circle as well, but important. Motionless, timeless. What do we mean by that? Well, it occupies a single frame in the universal movie. Okay, if it occupies two frames, it's not an object. It's an object in motion, and an object in motion is not an object. For example, plasma is not an object. It's not a standalone object. Plasma means ionized gas. It's a concept. And wave, the transverse wave, not an object. Okay, wave is something in motion, and so on down the line. So you can't use these words, energy, another one, mass. All those are concepts, dynamic concepts. Not one of them is a standalone object, because you need two frames in the movie to talk about energy, mass, ether, any of these. Okay, you need two frames in the movie. Okay, an object is not a concept. Okay, a lot of people confuse them. They think objects are concepts. We had one fellow who said that a two-dimensional object is a concept, so we have two-dimensional concepts. Okay, and object and concept are the only two categories of every word in the dictionary. Every word in the dictionary has to fall under concept or object. There is no third category. Okay, and if you have a different category, you need to put that in there and defend it. Not only just put it, but defend it. And I'm going to show you that it's one of the two. If it has shape, it's going to be an object. If it doesn't have shape, it's going to be a concept. There is no third possibility. God either has shape or God doesn't have shape. God cannot be both, have shape and not have shape. Okay, he can't be both an object and a concept simultaneously. So you got to decide who you're praying to, whether the object called God, the guy with a magic wand, I guess, or the concept called love or spirit or knowledge or intelligence or whatever. Okay, and we should not confuse the word object with the word exist, which is where 99% of the problems are out there. People confuse the word object with the word exist. Okay, they think that these two words are synonyms. Okay, and I'll be talking about that a little bit today. What's my conclusion? The definition of the word object destroys all religions. Once you define the word object, no religion can stand in place. Okay, no one can defend their religion once you define the word object. And all they can do is run away with their tails between their legs, not define the word object, saying they will not play that game, etc., etc., etc. That's all they can do. They cannot come in there and define the word object in any other way. And so, that's the trick. You got to define the word object. Don't tell me what an object ain't. Tell me what an object is. Okay, if you can't define the word object, you have no standing, especially in physics, because physics cannot be done without an object. It's a mandatory word. The first word a physicist must define. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Okay, let's move on here.